In the grand lobby of the opulent Grand Regency Hotel in downtown Chicago, where marble floors gleamed under crystal chandeliers and guests in designer suits checked in without a second glance, a weary single father with a toddler in his arms was curtly denied a room despite flashing his own hotel chain's executive keycard, only seconds later to reveal his identity as the billionaire owner of the entire franchise, turning the smug front desk agent's indifference into a viral storm of regret that rippled through the industry and reshaped corporate culture overnight. David Harlan had built the Harlan Hospitality Group from a single roadside motel in rural Indiana into a global empire spanning 450 properties across 12 countries, with annual revenues topping $2.8 billion. At 42 years old, he was a self-made billionaire, his fortune estimated at $4.1 billion by Forbes in their latest ranking, earned through shrewd acquisitions during the 2008 recession and innovative tech integrations like app-based check-ins that revolutionized the mid-tier hotel market. Harlan's story was the stuff of business school case studies. Orphaned at 15 after a car accident claimed his parents, he dropped out of high school to support his younger sister, started with odd jobs before scraping together $12,000 for that first motel at age 22. By 30, he had flipped it into a chain of 50 boutique hotels. Now his flagship, the Grand Regency, stood as a testament to his vision, a 35-story tower of luxury suites, rooftop infinity pools, and Michelin-starred restaurants that catered celebrities and CEOs alike. Despite his wealth, Harlan shunned the spotlight, rarely granting interviews and preferring jeans and flannel shirts over tailored suits. His personal life, however, was a quiet anchor. Widowed 3 years earlier when his wife, Sarah, succumbed to pancreatic cancer, he raised their 4-year-old daughter, Lily, alone in a modest brownstone on Chicago's North Side, commuting daily to oversee operations from a nondescript office. On that drizzly October evening in 2023, Harlan arrived at the Grand Regency unannounced, his beat-up Ford Explorer pulling up to the valet stand amid a fleet of gleaming Bentleys and Mercedes. He had just wrapped a grueling board meeting in New York, flying back on a red-eye to surprise Lily at her preschool's fall festival the next morning. The trip had been exhausting, back-to-back investor pitches, and a surprise audit that uncovered minor embezzlement by a regional manager. But Harlan's priority was always Lily, whose curly brown hair and infectious giggle reminded him daily of Sarah. With Lily asleep in her car seat, clutching a stuffed elephant named Ellie, Harlan slung a duffel bag over his shoulder and lifted her gently, her small head lolling against his chest. The doorman, a veteran named Tomas, nodded politely but didn't recognize him. Harlan made a point of blending in, avoiding the executive suites on his rare visits. Inside the lobby, the air hummed with the low murmur of check-ins and the clink of champagne flutes from the adjacent lounge. Harlan approached the front desk, a curvy mahogany counter manned by 3 agents in crisp uniforms. Behind the counter stood Rebecca Klein, 28, a recent business school graduate from Northwestern who had landed a role 6 months earlier through nepotism. Her uncle was the hotel's operations director. Klein's performance reviews were middling at best. She had a habit of prioritizing high rollers with flashy credit cards while dismissing families or budget travelers as nuisances. That night, her shift was winding down, and she eyed Harlan's disheveled appearance, rumpled shirt, unshaven jaw, and a sleeping child, with thinly veiled disdain. 2 other guests, a suited businessman and an elderly couple, waited patiently behind him. "Evening," Harlan said, his voice low to avoid waking Lily, sliding his Harlan Hospitality executive key card across the counter. The card, matte black with gold embossing, was reserved for top executives and select VIPs. Reservation under Harlan for the executive suite, but if it's unavailable, anything with a crib will do. Long flight. Klein glanced at the card without scanning it, her manicured nails tapping impatiently on the keyboard. She had seen knockoff versions before, fake platinum cards peddled online, and Harlan's casual demeanor didn't scream elite. "Sir, we're fully booked tonight. No suites available, and our family rooms are reserved weeks in advance. You'll need to try the Holiday Inn down the street." Harlan blinked, shifting Lily's weight. "Fully booked? Check again." The card should override. "It's under my name, David Harlan." She smirked faintly, handing the card back. "Look, we get this all the time. People think a fancy card gets them a room. Policy is policy. And with a kid, we have to charge extra for the noise complaint risk. Next. The businessman behind him cleared his throat, but Harlan didn't move. Lily stirred slightly, murmuring "Daddy" in her sleep, and he rocked her gently. "Ma'am, this is my hotel. Run the card properly. You'll see the master access code." Klein's eyes narrowed, her voice rising just enough to draw glances from nearby guests. "Your hotel? Buddy, this is a Grand Regency, part of a chain, not some hotel you own. Move aside, I've got paying customers waiting." The elderly couple exchanged uncomfortable looks. The businessman pulled out his phone, subtly recording. Harlan's jaw tightened, but he kept his tone even, years of boardroom negotiations tempering his frustration. "Call your manager. Now, and wake my daughter at your peril." Klein rolled her eyes, pressing the intercom button. "Mr. Ellis, front desk. Got a disruptive guest claiming ownership. Handle it." Her uncle, Operations Director Greg Ellis, arrived within minutes, a paunchy man in his 50s with perpetual scowl, clipboard in hand. Ellis had risen to the ranks on favoritism, overlooking Klein's lapses because she was family, and he viewed complaints as personal attacks. "What's the issue here?" Ellis demanded, eyeing Harlan up and down. Harlan met his gaze steadily. "The issue is your agent refused my reservation, despite the executive card. David Harlan, CEO of Harlan Hospitality. Check the system." Ellis snorted, grabbing the card and swiping it himself. The screen lit up. "Access denied. Invalid credentials." He chuckled. "Nice try, pal. Forged cards are felony. Security." He waved to a nearby guard, a burly ex-cop named Vance, who approached with hand on his radio. Harlan's patience snapped, though his voice remained controlled. "Before you escalate, pull up the corporate ledger. My name's at the top, founder and owner. This chain is mine, every brick, every suite." The lobby had quieted, a dozen guests now watching openly. Klein whispered to Ellis, "He's delusional. Probably homeless with a kid." Ellis nodded, turning back to Harlan. "Sir, leave now or we'll have you removed. We don't tolerate scams." That did it. Harlan shifted Lily to his hip with one arm, freeing the other to pull his phone from his pocket. With his thumb, he speed-dialed his executive assistant, Maria Torres, who handled crisis comms from the corporate office 2 blocks away. "Maria, it's David. Grand Regency lobby, front desk refusing entry. Record this." He held the phone aloft, activating video, then turned to Ellis. "You have 10 seconds to verify my identity or I'll invoke the ownership clause. Immediate termination for all staff involved in discriminatory denial." Ellis laughed outright. "Ownership clause? You're unhinged. Vance, escort him." Maria's voice boomed from the speakerphone, crystal clear in the stunned silence. "Mr. Harlan, pulling files now. Confirmation. David Harlan, sole proprietor, 100% equity in Harlan Hospitality Group. Revoking front desk access codes as we speak. Security override initiated. Cameras looping to corporate servers. Shall I notify the board and alert media relations?" The lobby gasped collectively. Ellis's face drained of color, his clipboard clattering to the floor. Klein's mouth hung open, her perfect makeup cracking under the horror of realization. Vance froze, radio midway to his lips. The businessman in line uploaded his video to Twitter with the caption, "Hotel denies own owner room, wild." Harlan lowered the phone, his expression hardening into the one he reserved for hostile takeovers. "That's correct, Maria. And comp all guests in the lobby a free night stay, on the house. As for you, Ms. Klein and Mr. Ellis, you're both fired. Effective immediately. Vance, if you lay a hand on me, it's assault on the CO. Your pension's gone." Ellis stammered, sweat